What if I told you that the shape of your face, the rate at which you age, and even your baseline level of anxiety are all controlled by a single hidden mechanism deep inside your skull? Most of us believe that facial aging is just a matter of gravity pulling down the skin. We buy creams, we massage the surface, and we worry about wrinkles. But this is a mistake. The true cause of a collapsing face lies much deeper. It is a structural failure of the skull itself. Deep behind your eyes, floating in the center of your head, sits the master gear of human anatomy. It is the sphenoid bone. When this bone is balanced, the face remains lifted, symmetrical, and youthful. But when it locks up, due to stress, trauma, or a hidden brain mistake most of us make every day, the entire cranial structure begins to collapse inward. The maxilla drops, the eyes look tired, the jawline recedes. But there is a way to reverse this. There is one ancient movement, a specific facelift lock, that was designed thousands of years ago not just for spiritual enlightenment, but to physically push back against the forces of entropy. By utilizing a hidden switch in your mouth, you can reset the master gear, stimulate the vagus nerve, and trigger a potent biological effect known as piezoelectricity to remodel your bone structure from the inside out. Today, on Codex of Reality, we are decoding the Khechari Mudra. We are going to show you how to use the tongue to unlock the skull, reverse the clock, and bridge the gap between vanity and divinity. The master gear and the butterfly. To understand how a simple tongue position can act as a facelift, we first need to understand the architecture of your reality. We need to talk about the sphenoid. In the medical community, the sphenoid is often called the wasp bone or the butterfly because of its distinct wings. But in the world of osteopathy and craniosacral therapy, it is known as the keystone. Think of your skull not as a solid, immovable helmet, but as a complex, breathing 3D puzzle made of 22 distinct bones. These bones are connected by sutures, joints that are designed to flex and breathe. And sitting right in the center, touching almost every other major bone in the head, is the sphenoid. It articulates with the frontal bone of your forehead, the occiput at the base of your skull, the temporals near your ears, and the maxilla of your upper jaw. It is the central cog in the machine. Here is the critical insight that most people miss. The sphenoid is the primary driver of the cranial rhythmic impulse. Your skull actually expands and contracts slightly, thousands of times a day, pumping cerebrospinal fluid through your brain and spine. When the sphenoid is moving freely, this pump works perfectly. Your face appears wide, your eyes are level, and your cheekbones are high and prominent because the internal pressure is balanced. However, modern life is a catastrophe for the sphenoid. Birth trauma, dental work, braces, and specifically chronic stress cause this master gear to twist and lock. When the sphenoid torques, it pulls the rest of the face with it. One eye drops lower than the other. The nose deviates. The upper jaw narrows and recedes, leaving the skin with no support, which we interpret as sagging. You don't need a facelift. You need to unlock the master gear. And the key to that lock is your tongue. The problem: the stress collapse. Before we give you the protocol, you must understand the hidden brain mistake that is accelerating your aging process right now. It is the severance of the mind-body connection through the vagus nerve. The roof of your mouth is the floor of your brain. It is not just a separation between the oral and nasal cavities. It is a neurological switchboard. This area is richly innervated by 5 cranial nerves, including the most important nerve for anti-aging, the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the commander of the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest, digest, and repair mode. When you are in this mode, your body regenerates tissues, digests food, and repairs cellular damage. However, the modern human lives in a chronic state of sympathetic dominance, fight or flight. When you are stressed, you clench your jaw. You press your tongue against your teeth or let it hang low in your mouth. This tension sends a signal to the sphenoid bone to lock down for protection. Over years, this chronic tension acts like a slow-motion trash compactor on your face. The muscles of mastication, the masseters and temporalis, become short and tight, pulling the facial bones downward and backward. This is why faces tend to look long and flat as they age. The ancient yogis who didn't have MRI machines but possessed immense proprioceptive awareness realized that the mouth was the bypass switch. They discovered that by manipulating the tongue into a specific lock, the Khechari Mudra, they could manually override the stress response. They weren't just trying to meditate, they were trying to stop the leakage of vital energy. They realized that a loose tongue equals a loose mind and a sagging body. By locking the tongue, they sealed the circuit. The science, piezoelectricity, and remodeling. Now, let's bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and hard science. How can pressing your tongue against the roof of your mouth actually change your bone structure? The answer lies in a phenomenon called piezoelectricity. Piezo comes from the Greek word for pressure. In physics, the piezoelectric effect describes how certain solid materials, like crystals, ceramics, and bone, accumulate an electric charge in response to applied mechanical stress. Your bones are crystalline structures. When you apply consistent, rhythmic pressure to a bone, it generates a minute electrical charge. This electrical signal tells the body where to build new bone density. This is Wolff's law in action. Bone grows in response to the load under which it is placed. When you perform the Khechari Mudra correctly, you are applying an upward internal force against the maxilla and the palatine bones. You are essentially turning your tongue into a hydraulic press that pushes against the floor of the skull. This pressure generates a piezoelectric charge that signals the osteoblasts, the cells that build bone, to reinforce the maxilla. Instead of the maxilla receding and dropping with age, which causes the skin to fold around the nose and mouth, this internal pressure encourages the bone to maintain its forward and upward position. Furthermore, this pressure is transferred directly to the sphenoid. By gently rocking the sphenoid through this tongue pressure, you encourage the cranial sutures to remain mobile. You are literally keeping the joints of your skull oiled and flexible. This is the biological mechanism of the facelift lock. It isn't magic. It is biomechanics. You are using the body's own electrical generation system to maintain the scaffolding of your face. The solution: Khechari versus mewing. You may have heard of mewing, the popular orthotropic technique of keeping the tongue on the roof of the mouth. While mewing is excellent for foundational posture, the Khechari Mudra is the advanced, spiritual evolution of this concept. We need to distinguish between the two to understand the facelift lock. Mewing focuses on the hard palate, the bony ridge directly behind your teeth. This is purely structural. It creates the mechanical force we just discussed. Khechari Mudra, however, targets the soft palate, the squishy, muscular tissue further back in the mouth, near the uvula. When you curl the tongue back to touch the soft palate, you are no longer just pushing on bone. You are engaging the deep fascial chains of the neck and throat. This position acts as a lock that lifts the hyoid bone. Look at a mirror. If you have a double chin or a lack of definition in the jawline, it is often because the hyoid bone has dropped due to weak tongue muscles. Khechari is like a heavyweight workout for the root of the tongue. It instantly lifts the hyoid, tightening the skin under the chin and sharpening the jawline profile immediately. But beyond the physical, Khechari targets the amrita, or nectar point. In yoga, it is believed that a vital fluid drips from the brainstem, which we waste through speech and worldly exhaustion. By curling the tongue back, the yogis claimed to catch this nectar, preserving their youth. Scientifically, hitting the soft palate stimulates the pharyngeal plexus and the pituitary gland region. This creates a profound neuroendocrine response. You are stimulating the master gland of the body, potentially optimizing hormonal output, which is crucial for anti-aging. The protocol, the facelift lock. So, how do you perform this ancient facelift lock? Do not force your tongue. The goal is not pain, the goal is connection. We will focus on Nabo Mudra, the safe, accessible version of Khechari that provides 80% of the benefits without the need for surgical modification of the tongue frenulum. Here is your daily protocol. Stage 1, the anchor. Close your mouth and lips. Breathe exclusively through your nose. Place the tip of your tongue on the ridge of gum tissue just behind your upper front teeth. This is your anchor point. Stage 2, the slide. Slowly, with intention, slide the tip of your tongue backward along the roof of your mouth. You will feel the hard, bony ridges of the hard palate. Keep going. You will reach a point where the bone ends and the tissue becomes soft and yielding. This is the soft palate. Stage 3, the lock. This is the critical moment. Turn the tip of your tongue upward and push it gently into that soft, squishy cavern. You are not pushing hard, you are plugging into a socket. Once you make contact, hold it there. You may feel a stretch in the root of your tongue or under your chin. This is good. It means the muscles are waking up. The visualization. While holding this lock, close your eyes. Visualize the center of your head, the sphenoid bone, filling with a bright golden light. Imagine that every time you inhale, you are pulling energy up from the base of your spine, and the tongue lock is preventing it from escaping, circulating it back into your brain. Practice this for 10 to 15 minutes a day, perhaps while commuting or before falling asleep. The sensation of calm should be almost immediate as the vagus nerve engages. The Khechari Mudra is the ultimate biohack because it bridges the two things we all desire: physical beauty and inner peace. By resetting the master gear of the sphenoid, you restore the structural integrity of your face, but by stimulating the vagus nerve, you restore the integrity of your soul. You stop the stress that ages you, and you turn on the internal electricity that regenerates you. This is the secret of the facelift lock. It's one simple movement, one ancient habit, with a dramatic payoff. If you are ready to unlock more hidden mechanisms of the human body, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Codex of Reality. We are peeling back the layers of the universe, one bone and one breath at a time. Until next time, keep your tongue up and your reality open.